The Azerbaijani Popular Front reports that the city of Agdan was the subject of an attack by Armenian forces, but that the attackers were repulsed. The cities and towns of Nagorno-Karabakh are almost unrecognizable these days. People are extremely worried about how to heat their homes and feed their children. The epicenter of the conflict is now the city of Shusha. It has been surrounded and under fire by Armenian forces for several days. City authorities say that there have been several attacks on the city. According to Azerbaijani, that is Armenian sources, Shusha is the center of Azerbaijani military activity, and that rocket and artillery bombardment of Stepanakert is being carried out from there. It was Shusha which was the destination of the Mi-8 helicopter, which was shot down last week. Both sides in this war are using modern weaponry. It threatens to become a large-scale war between the two countries. Russia offers to perform a liaison role. The Russian Federation Ministry of Foreign Affairs has made this offer officially. Azerbaijani President Mutalibov says that if the West sends UN observers to Nagorno-Karabakh, he will agree to have a UN force in place in Azerbaijan. According to information received by the Interfax news agency, railroad traffic has once again been halted to and from the city of Poti. On Thursday, Gamsahurdia supporters destroyed the track outside the city. There is shooting around the area and meetings in support of the fallen president. Television and newspapers are not being broadcast or published. In the city of Zugdidi, there are joint patrols on the streets between National Guardsmen and local self-defense forces. A meeting in support of the provisional government was held here. The center of the conflict has been transferred to Abkhazia, and specifically to Sukhumi, where opposition forces are calling for civil disobedience. In Tbilisi, the government says that a decree of the military commander of the city will provide that from February 1st to March 1st, there will be control over entrance and exit to the city of Tbilisi, and no military equipment will be permitted into the area. A peace commission has been created to solve the problems in South Ossetia. In Tshinvali, the situation is as tragic as before. There is no clear indication of who will represent South Ossetia in negotiations with the Georgian government. Refugees from the North Caucasus still have no plans to return to their homeland. An international association is sending 3 million Belgian francs worth of medical aid to this area, including a famous surgeon from Moscow who was working here helping injured people last year at the height of the conflict. This association will attempt to take control over the distribution of this help, including essential bandaging materials here in South Ossetia and in the Georgian city of Gori. Foreign news. In Prague, the foreign ministers' meeting of the Helsinki process countries has come to an end. Our correspondent reports. They believe here that the results of the Prague meeting will be very significant for us, the Commonwealth of Independent States. 10 of the former Soviet republics have been accepted for membership on the Council on Security and Cooperation in Europe. But the results are not just in the meetings and other ceremonies here. We are talking about the obligations they will have to perform under the Helsinki Charter and the Paris Charter, guaranteeing economic and other cooperation, observation of human rights and the norms of democracy. Today, human rights is a higher principle than the principle of non-interference. It is considered here. They agreed to send observer groups into the hotspots, the crisis areas of the world, including possibly UN Blue Beret forces, to resolve inter-ethnic conflicts. A final decision on this will be taken in Helsinki in June at the next meeting called Helsinki II. U.S. Pentagon spokesman Pete Wilson said that the U.S. military is making plans to accelerate the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Europe. According to Williams, the U.S. intends to close 492 American military bases and other facilities located abroad. In France, there is a great political scandal because of the arrival here of the General Secretary of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, George Habash, a famous former terrorist. French President Mitterrand and Foreign Minister Dumas had not been informed of his arrival. There are sharp sanctions being adopted. Mitterrand's advisor, the head of the French Red Cross, Ms. Dufoy, said that the Red Cross assists people without regard of their political beliefs. With the fall of communism in the former Soviet Union, we hear a lot about the religious revival of that country, which was considered officially atheistic in the Soviet period, according to the American TV network ABC. One of the consequences of this full religious freedom is the arrival of many foreign missionaries and the growth of many new sects, including Hare Krishnas, but the main faith still remains the Russian Orthodox Church. But atheism still shows its effects, as missionaries are being greeted fairly coldly as they distribute literature publicly. But these groups manage to baptize several people a day. It is with joy that we congratulate our newspaper colleagues. Today, Russian President Yeltsin issued a decree which will guarantee normal working conditions from them. The former government house on Pushkin Square, number 26, will be open to dozens of editorial boards of new independent Russian newspapers. This decree by President Yeltsin about creating a Russian press house is a very serious step in support of independent press from the Russian government. There are thousands of new independent newspapers in Russia formed over the last year, 1,800 new publishing houses, dozens of television and radio broadcasting companies, and many of them are looking for office space. We have discussed this with the head of the administration as we looked for all possible variations to provide for the normal working conditions for these journalists. Today, President Yeltsin shows an example to all the heads of government of providing for journalists by giving us this very high-quality building. Yes, it is a great building. Its architects received state prizes. It's the former home of the Soviet government, and now in its offices and hallways you see the representatives of new independent Soviet newspapers who were seeking office space for a long time, including the Ostankino television broadcasting center. The TV and radio networks will form an international press institute here for training new journalists. In one of the theaters of our city, there was a new spectacle, which may be beginning soon, called The Troubadour and His Friends. We say it may be happening because we're not sure. The director of this play has not left the theater for 3 days, and even though there is no light or sufficient heating in the building, they continue work. The metro is not working reliably, so we chose this moment to talk. I don't know if it's a dramatic or a comic moment. It's a dramatic moment. But nonetheless, the theater is working and performing a children's show, which is very rare now. Yes, because children have the roughest time here in these conditions. It's a classical work of Mr. Gladkov. We wanted to make a very nice gift to all of our children. 12 young actors competed for the right to perform in this spectacle, this show. They not only act, but sing and dance and juggle, perform acrobatics. The play has a new musical arrangement, specially done for this show, which will be a wonderful gift for our children who are definitely not spoiled with excessive gifts. Here's what the only young person in the hall today said. What did you think? It was okay. Did you like it? Well, did you like it or not? Yes. And one more thing. On Sundays, this show will be performed 4 times a day to accommodate everyone who wants to see it. Do you recognize him? Yes. This is Nikolai Ozyrev, the